Must see she will never see you the same again after you do these things once. Old Stoic wisdom. Welcome back. You didn't come here for tired cliches or recycled advice. You came because something inside you refuses to settle for mediocrity. Deep down, you understand that the most memorable man in the room is rarely the loudest. In this video, we're not talking about pickup lines, flashy gifts, or grand displays. We're about to explore something far more profound, a single action, calm, confident, and deliberate, that will forever change how a woman sees you, not because you're trying to impress her, but because you'll show her a man she cannot control, a man she will never forget. Take a moment to breathe, slow down, and let's dive in. After this, you'll never need to prove yourself again. Quote, "The greatest thing you'll ever learn is just to love and be loved in return." Eden Arbez. Number 1. The power of one silent move that redefines you. At some point in every man's life, he comes to the realization that words don't always work, that gifts can be forgotten, and even passion can fade. But one thing that doesn't fade is presence. In this fast-paced world full of distractions, it's easy to get caught up in trying to impress her with grand gestures, fancy dinners, sweet texts, over-the-top compliments. But that's not what you need to capture her heart or her attention. What will truly shift her perception of you, and make it last, is something far simpler and far more powerful. It's a single act of self-restraint that redefines you, not just for the evening, but for the long haul. This isn't some trick or manipulation. It's not about pretending to be someone else or performing. It's about being so rooted in your true self that her view of you is completely altered without you even trying. You stop being the man who is desperate for her approval and start being the man she cannot quite figure out, the man she cannot forget. In a world obsessed with instant gratification and emotional outbursts, this may sound like a strange approach, but it's the one that works. What draws a woman in isn't your eagerness to be there at her beck and call. It's your mystery. It's your self-discipline. And that begins with one crucial moment. One moment where she expects you to react, where she thinks you'll chase, beg, or plead for her affection, and you do the exact opposite. You remain calm, poised, silent. Picture this: she's testing you, maybe with sarcasm, distance, or even a passive-aggressive comment. Most men fall into the trap, trying to explain themselves, defend their position, or fix the discomfort. But not you. You don't flinch, you don't raise your voice, you don't get defensive. You just stand there, collected, with a slight smile, not dismissing her, but showing her something she doesn't quite understand: control. It's this inner control, this stillness in the face of provocation, that disrupts her narrative. She's used to men reacting, chasing, trying to win her over. But when you don't, when you let the moment pass without reacting emotionally, you become unpredictable. You become intriguing. You become irresistible. Why? Because humans crave what they cannot control. And in that instant, she realizes she can't control you, and she doesn't even fully understand you. This is the beginning of a shift, not just in her opinion, but in her emotional attachment. The Stoic philosophers, particularly Epictetus, believed that true freedom was the ultimate goal in life, and true freedom comes from the self-restraint. You don't react out of fear. You don't react because you're trying to win her over. You react, or, more accurately, you don't react because you're free. Free from the need to be liked, free from the fear of losing someone, free from the emotional highs and lows that ensnare so many men. This silent act of resistance, of not giving her the emotional reaction she expects, is not a weakness. In fact, it's power in its most refined, elegant form. And here's the truth in that moment. You don't just win her over. You make her see you as someone who isn't at her mercy. You become the man whose moods are his own, the man who doesn't bend or break to meet her whims, and, whether she consciously realizes it or not, that's the man she begins to chase. Number 2, the power of walking away without a word. There's a kind of silence that is louder than the most heated argument. It's not the silence born of defeat, but one that emanates from a deep well of self-respect. Once you've mastered the art of not reacting, you unlock a next-level form of masculine power, the silent withdrawal. It's subtle, it's profound, and it will change the way she sees you forever. This happens when the dynamic shifts, when her behavior becomes erratic or inconsistent. One moment she's all in, the next she's distant. Her messages become a labyrinth of half-formed thoughts. Her presence feels like a strategy rather than an authentic connection. She plays the game of uncertainty, intentionally pulling away, making you question where you stand. She wants you to ask, what's wrong? She wants to see you flounder, to lose your balance, to crave confirmation that you still care. It's a test. But instead of reacting, you walk away, not with anger, not with drama, just with peace. No explanation, no messages, no emotional closure. Why does this work? Because in a world that thrives on emotional fireworks, your absence is like a thunderclap. It's jarring, it's unexpected, it disrupts the predictable script she's written in her mind, the one where she holds power over your responses. When you pull back without a word, you interrupt the pattern. The dance she's been leading suddenly halts, and now she's left trying to rewrite the narrative. See, most men, when faced with neglect or manipulation, scramble. They feel desperate to fix things, to regain control. They start pleading, begging for clarity, or worse, proving their worth. In doing so, they hand over their dignity and surrender their peace. But the Stoic man, he does the opposite. His peace is paramount. He values his own emotional clarity more than her confusion. His presence is too precious to waste in an environment that no longer appreciates it. Marcus Aurelius once said, "The best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury." In love, this translates into not mirroring her manipulative tactics. Instead of playing her game, you rise above it. You don't chase her answers. You let your absence speak for you. Let it serve as a stark reminder of your worth. She might notice immediately, or it might take her days. But one thing is for sure, your silence will linger in her mind long after your words have dissipated. Because when a man who once cared vanishes without a trace, it forces her to pause and reflect. Questions start swirling in her head. Why did he stop? Did I go too far? Was I too much? Did I lose something I didn't even know I had? Suddenly, you've transformed from someone who needs her to someone she now needs to understand. But here's the crux of it. Walking away is not about punishment. It's not about trying to teach her a lesson or to make her feel guilty. It's not about playing games. It's about protecting your soul. It's about asserting that you will not fight for space in a world that's determined to diminish you. When you disappear without warning, you are sending a message louder than any words ever could. I am not here to be tolerated. I am here to be chosen. And if you don't choose me, then I choose myself. This is not detachment. This is depth. This is the embodiment of masculine maturity. It's a subtle yet powerful declaration that your value does not lie in her approval or her validation. When you withhold your energy, you allow her to see what she truly stands to lose. If she's the right one, she'll come back with a newfound respect, a deeper understanding. If not, then your silence has spared you from years of emotional noise, from wasted energy, and from the torment of trying to prove your worth to someone who cannot appreciate it. So, don't misunderstand this. This isn't about manipulation. It isn't about revenge. It's a statement of self-respect, of knowing your worth and having the courage to walk away when that worth is no longer being honoured. Remember, a man who masters the art of walking away, the man who chooses silence over conflict, holds a power so magnetic that it shifts the very fabric of the relationship, and she will never see you the same again. If you find this valuable, comment below and share it with someone who could benefit. Don't forget to subscribe for more wisdom. Comment to remember, I am a man of self-discipline and focus. This statement reflects the core principle of valuing your time, staying true to your goals, and letting your presence become something meaningful rather than something easily given away. Number 3, make her wait and feel the weight of your absence. In today's world of instant gratification, few things stand out like a man who possesses the patience to make her wait. Most men today are desperate for validation, constantly chasing approval. They drop everything at the first sign of interest. They cancel plans, rearrange their schedules, even neglect their own well-being just to be available. But when you make her wait, not out of arrogance but because your time has value, you immediately set yourself apart. You are no longer predictable, convenient, or replaceable. Instead, you become someone with purpose, someone who commands respect. The longer you take to respond, the more she starts to wonder, where are you? Who are you with what is so important that it takes your attention away from her? And that, my friend, is where the mystery begins. This isn't a game, nor is it about playing hard to get. It's about demonstrating something far more powerful than affection, self-discipline. When you don't rush to accommodate, you're showing her your strength of character. You're telling her that your time is valuable, that you are on a mission, and that your life does not revolve around her. A man who does not chase validation knows that his energy and focus are precious. Women recognize that energy. They feel it. They may not always express it, but they notice. A man who doesn't immediately respond to a text is not sitting around waiting for her approval. He's building something. He's moving forward. He's choosing his path and making sure it aligns with his goals. And she will notice this. She will feel it. The Stoics understood the power of this mindset. Seneca wisely said, "He who is everywhere is nowhere." In modern terms, this means if you're always available, you are emotionally invisible. By making her wait, you're not ignoring her. You're showing her that your time is sacred. You don't cancel your plans or skip your workout to be at her beck and call. Instead, you calmly delay your response, perhaps for hours, maybe even a day. When she wants to meet, you tell her, "I'm free later. Let's talk then." You are no longer the man who is chasing her. You are the man who requires her to chase you. She must qualify for your time, your presence, and your energy. This is not about arrogance or ego. It's about the energy you project. When you make her wait, you are teaching her to value your presence. She starts to see you as someone who is not just a distraction from boredom, but a reward for her patience. She starts to crave your presence, not in desperation, but in anticipation. This delay, this space between encounters, is not just a break. It's a powerful psychological tool. It creates contrast, and contrast sparks curiosity. Suddenly, she finds herself wondering what you're doing, checking your social media and asking herself, what's on his mind? She's not ignoring you. She's being challenged. Feminine energy craves challenge, not conflict, but the opportunity for conquest. And you, my friend, are the prize to be won. You are no longer the man who gives everything away freely. You are the man who gives meaning, who adds depth to every interaction. And that makes you irresistible. So, let her wait. Let her feel the weight of your absence. Let her wonder what it is that makes you so different from the rest. And when you finally do return, you won't return to impress. You will return to connect, on your terms. You won't come rushing back like a man desperate for attention. You will come back as a man who has chosen to show up, who values himself and his time enough to keep her on her toes. That is the kind of man who commands respect. That is the kind of man who leaves a lasting impression. And that, my friend, is how you ensure she will never see you the same again. Number 4, say no without explaining and watch her respect you more. There comes a moment in every relationship when you're asked to compromise, whether it's cancelling your plans to accommodate her, bending your values to suit her desires, or giving more than you're truly willing, whether that's your time, energy, or even your hard-earned money. And how you handle that moment, that single a defining moment, tells her everything she needs to know about you. If you hesitate, if you feel the need to explain, justify, or argue your reasons, you might momentarily win her approval, but you'll lose something far more important, her respect. You'll end up seeming indecisive, weak, and easily manipulated, even if you don't realize it. Women, even when they don't say it out loud, are deeply drawn to men who have a spine. Men who stand firm, not just in their love and affection, but in their principles, their values, and their sense of self. A man with a spine knows when to say no, and more importantly, he knows how to say it without apologizing or explaining himself. When you give in too easily or offer lengthy explanations about why you're saying no, you hand over your power. You subtly imply that you need her to understand you, that you're afraid of disappointing her, and that you can't bear the thought of losing her. But that's not masculine energy. That's fear masked as politeness. True masculinity is rooted in quiet strength, the ability to assert boundaries without any drama or need for approval. It's about saying, no, that doesn't align with me, and then leaving it at that. You don't owe her an explanation. You don't need to justify your decision. In that simple moment, you show her that your peace is non-negotiable. You show her that your principles, your values, and your sense of self-worth cannot be bought, not even for her charm or beauty. And here's the paradox. This is what draws her in. When you stop being the man who melts under pressure, who crumbles in the face of her demands, you become the mountain she has to climb. You shift the dynamic entirely. Instead of feeling like a pushover, you become the man who commands respect simply by existing. As Marcus Aurelius wisely said, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." This is the essence of true masculinity. In a relationship, your boundaries are not obstacles. They're a path. They act as a filter, sending a clear signal to her about who you are, what you stand for, and what you will not tolerate. If she's aligned with you, she'll come closer. If she's not, she'll step back. Either way, you've shown her the real you, and that's the only way to form a genuine connection. Now, let's be clear, women may test your limits, but deep down, they don't want you to bend or break. They don't want a man who compromises himself for their approval. Instead, they want to know that you're solid, that you're a man who won't lose himself for the sake of keeping the peace. A man who stands firm in his beliefs, who won't betray his values, is a man she can trust to lead. Leadership in a relationship isn't about being domineering or controlling. It's about being rooted in yourself, in your beliefs, and in your ability to make decisions that are true to who you are. When you say no without drama or hesitation, you're not pushing her away. You're showing her that you know how to protect your peace, and by protecting your peace, you're also protecting hers. Real connection is not built on constant compromise or sacrifice. It's built on shared standards, mutual respect, and a deep understanding that each partner is worthy of maintaining their individuality and boundaries. So, the next time she asks for something that doesn't sit right with you, don't argue, don't defend yourself, and definitely don't apologize for your decision. Just take a deep breath, say no, and let the silence linger. This moment of quiet strength will speak volumes. It will leave a lasting impression, because in a world where everyone seems to bend to the will of others, the man who stands tall in his own truth is the one she will remember. That quiet, firm no might be the most unforgettable thing about you, the one thing that will stay with her long after the conversation is over. If you've made it this far, you're already stepping into a higher level of self-respect. Most men crumble under pressure or seek approval, but you've learned the power of saying no without explanation. Women respect men who stand firm in their values, not those who bend at every request. Now, it's your turn to take action. Comment below, "I protect my peace and stand by my principles." Let the world know you're a man who won't compromise on what truly matters. Number 5. Pull her close, then let go. The power of emotional restraint. There is a kind of touch that leaves no fingerprints, a closeness so potent that even when you're standing right there in front of her, she still feels a deep, yearning ache for you, and it all happens in a single, powerful moment, when you pull her close, then gently let go. It's not about being distant, it's about being in control. It's about mastering something that the vast majority of men will never learn, the ability to hold back, not from a place of fear, but from strength. Don't mistake this for coldness or distance. Most men think the key to a woman's heart is to give more affection, more word, more time, more everything. They chase, they indulge, they try to fill every moment with themselves, But the truth is, what truly ignites a woman's deepest longing is not abundance, it's restraint. Imagine this: a man who kisses her forehead, smiles softly, and walks away. That is power. A man who listens with deep presence, holds her for a breath longer than she expects, then lets go without saying a word. That is magnetic. It's not the flood of affection that sweeps her off her feet. It's the quiet confidence that you know when to let go, when to pull back, and when to just be. Why is this so powerful? It's because a man who can hold back is a man who is not ruled by desire. Be the man who understands this, the one who doesn't need constant validation or the rush of affection to feel whole. He has mastered emotional restraint, not to manipulate or control, but to show that he is secure, even in silence. This ability to step away from the moment, to create tension through absence, is electric. The paradox of presence and distance. Carl Jung once wrote that only paradoxes come close to fully comprehending the complexity of life. That is the essence of this principle, the balance between presence and distance, between intensity and discipline. When you practice this emotional restraint, you become an enigma, a mystery she can't define. The mystery is what keeps her coming back. Women are drawn to the depth of a man who can be both fully present and willing to step away. It's not a game. It's a demonstration of self-mastery, of understanding that the best way to connect is not by clinging, but by being complete in yourself. Be the man who doesn't need her energy to feel full. So many men think they must own her attention to prove their worth, but you need nothing from her to feel powerful. You give from a place of abundance, not from a place of lack. That is emotional sovereignty. You don't need to fill a void with her affection. Instead, you offer connection from a place of fullness. You let her step forward when she is ready, not because she has to, but because she wants to. That short embrace, that half smile before turning away. It lingers. It haunts. It sticks with her long after the moment has passed, not because of what you gave, but because of what you didn't give. That is unforgettable. When you can pull her close and then walk away, you create something few men ever do: depth. It's the depth of understanding that to truly connect, you must first be complete in yourself. You don't need to consume her energy to feel validated. You give, but you give without clinging. You love, but you don't lose yourself in the process. In a world where men are often too eager to prove themselves, a man who knows when to hold back is a rare find. You must embrace this power. The power of emotional restraint is not about being cold or aloof. It's about showing her that you are a force of nature who is not desperate for her validation. You are whole, and your presence is a gift, not a demand. When you can give her space to want you, to miss you, you will find a depth of connection that most men will never experience. Pull her close, then let go. That is the moment that will leave her thinking about you long after you've left. Number 6. The final message. Becoming the man she can't forget. There's an undeniable power in being the man who doesn't need to shout to be heard. It doesn't lie in your words or in constant approval seeking. It resides in your stillness, your boundaries, and your unwavering commitment to self-respect. It's the strength in choosing not to respond to provocation, the quiet resolve in walking away rather than pleading for attention. You don't apologize for your presence because you know your worth doesn't require validation. This is the kind of power that reshapes everything around you, the kind that sticks with her long after you've left the room. She will never see you the same again after you embrace this. As men, we often waste time chasing approval, bending ourselves to fit into what others want. But when you stand grounded, unshaken, and whole, your presence speaks volumes without uttering a word. You become a storm of calm in a world of chaos. You don't need to be loud to command respect. Your silence and restraint become your loudest declarations. The simple act of holding your ground, whether it's saying no without hesitation or choosing to walk away rather than chase, transforms you from the ordinary man who seeks validation into the man who embodies self-mastery and strength. Marcus Aurelius once said, Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one. This is your call to stop performing. You don't need to force anything. Don't overthink it. Walk with integrity. Act with clarity. Let your stillness stand as a testament to your character, your restraint, your boundaries, and your refusal to be consumed by anyone else's expectations will make her question everything about the men she's known. You won't have to try to be unforgettable. You will be, because you honored yourself, and that honor burned an indelible mark in her mind. And here's the paradox when you let go of the chase. You become the one who can't be chased. She starts to wonder why you're not pleading, why you're not desperate for her attention, why your presence doesn't bend to fit hers. She starts to question herself. Your absence, your boundary, and your peace become more magnetic than anyone's affection. You never tried to be unforgettable, you simply were. And that is what will change everything. When you embrace this mindset, you stop needing her validation, you stop needing anyone's approval to feel whole. You don't beg for love, you stand tall in it, without leaning, without needing to prove yourself. This is the essence of Stoic love. It's not about pretending you don't care. It's about realizing that you are complete, with or without her. You choose yourself first, and that is what makes you unforgettable. Imagine a week where you focus solely on building a life so full of purpose, so rich in direction, that anyone who enters it must rise to meet your standards. 1 week of no validation seeking, of living a life that doesn't revolve around someone else's opinion. At the end of that week, you will feel the shift. She will sense that power. And when she realizes you're no longer waiting, no longer watching, no longer pleading with silent glances or delayed messages, everything changes. The power dynamic flips. She realizes you are not just another man hoping to be loved. You are love, you are strength, you are the mountain that stands unshaken when the storm arrives. When you stop needing her, she will need you. That's the power of emotional independence. That is Stoic love. So, brother, commit to this for 1 week. Build a life so rich in purpose that validation doesn't come from her. It comes from the deep satisfaction you find in your own journey. Let go of the chase, and you will see her chase the man who has finally chosen himself. When you stop seeking, you stop begging. And you stand in your own power, you will leave a mark on her soul that no other man could ever replicate. Don't shrink for love, expand in silence. Choose yourself, and become the man she can never forget. If you felt this message, leave a comment below. And don't forget to subscribe, because this is just the beginning of your journey to becoming a man who doesn't need to be loud to be remembered. Stand strong, stay grounded, lead with silence. If you find today's content useful to you, don't forget to share your feelings and lessons with us, or simply comment, "Very cool." It's a great encouragement for our channel makers. Thank you very much. Number 7. Cultivate the power of being present without overcommitting. In today's world, where every second seems to be consumed by distractions, the most valuable gift you can give to anyone, especially a woman, is your undivided attention. But here's the catch. Being present doesn't mean saying yes to every request, responding to every text message, or constantly making yourself available. It's about being intentional with your time and deliberately choosing when and where to show up. It's about quality, not quantity. You see, when you make her feel that your time is a rare commodity, something she can't just have whenever she asks, it increases your value in her eyes. You stop being the guy who is always at her beck and call, and start becoming the man who has a life and priorities that demand respect. The key to this is to avoid overcommitting yourself. Yes, there will be times when you want to say yes to everything and everyone, but you must be selective, you must be strategic, and when you do choose to show up, you must be all in. No distractions, no wandering thoughts about work, your next commitment, or what's happening on your phone. When you're with her, you need to be completely present, mind, body, and soul. You become the anchor in the moment, the calm amidst the storm, and she will feel that deep, unwavering presence that signals stability and focus. You're not just there physically, you are truly, fully there with her in every way. By not constantly being available, you are subtly teaching her that your presence is not something to be taken for granted. It's earned. And that, my friend, is where the magic happens. When she knows that she must earn your time, she begins to value it more. She will start to see you as a man of integrity, a man who knows his worth and won't allow himself to be stretched too thin. This creates a dynamic that is far more powerful than just being available all the time. It transforms your interactions from transactional to meaningful. The more you guard your time, the more she will respect and cherish your presence. She will begin to understand that when you're with her, it's a moment that matters. That respect fosters a deeper connection, one where both of you understand the importance of boundaries and the sanctity of shared time. And don't mistake this for playing games or being distant. It's not about being cold or aloof. It's about being deliberate and intentional in how you engage with her. It's about saying, I value my time and your time. When I am with you, I am all yours. This creates a balance, a rhythm that builds anticipation and excitement. It's about showing that your time is scarce, which paradoxically makes it more desirable. Over time, this will shift the entire dynamic between you two. You're not just another guy who is available at the drop of a hat. You become someone who is purposeful, someone whose presence is felt. The more you cultivate this mindset, the more you will see the respect and admiration grow in her eyes. In the end, when you master the art of being present, without overcommitting, you not only elevate your own life, but also the quality of your relationships. You'll find that the time you spend together will be more meaningful, more valuable, and far more impactful. It's not about being busy or pretending to be unavailable. It's about making every moment count and showing her that your time is worth her attention. When you get this right, she will never see you the same way again. You will become a man who stands out, not because you're constantly available, but because you've mastered the art of showing up when it matters most. Number 8, master the art of leading without forcing. A real man doesn't need to dominate or control others to prove his strength. True leadership is about subtlety and confidence. It's not about flexing your muscles or barking orders. Leadership should never be rooted in manipulation or coercion. Instead, it comes from guiding others, especially her, with calm decisiveness and a deep understanding of who you are, what you stand for, and what you value most. When you lead without forcing, you show her something powerful. You show her that you're not only capable of handling any situation, but that you can do so without the need to be domineering or overly controlling. You don't shove her into following your every move. Instead, you lead by example. You build a space around you that feels safe, stable, and, yes, inspiring. She'll follow your lead not because you pushed her into it, but because she feels drawn to your steady, grounded energy. This approach to leadership doesn't just come across as confident, it's magnetic. And here's why true leadership is based on trust, mutual respect, and integrity. It's about knowing that real strength doesn't come from demanding compliance, but from earning it. It's the kind of leadership that naturally compels her to follow because she sees in you a man who knows his own worth and acts in alignment with his principles. But let's break this down even further, because leadership is a delicate thing. It's not about proving who's in charge. It's about creating an atmosphere where both of you can thrive, an environment where your actions make her want to follow. And that's where your internal strength comes into play. The power of quiet leadership. You must first understand that the loudest voices in the room aren't always the most powerful. It's easy to mistake loudness for strength, but the real power lies in the quiet confidence that only comes with knowing yourself. This is why you don't have to force your way into her life. Instead, lead with the subtle force of your own groundedness. When you trust your instincts, when you stand firm in your beliefs, she can't help but notice. Remember, don't ever confuse volume with power. It's the calm decisiveness in your actions that speaks louder than any words. The more you show her that you have everything under control without needing to bark commands, the more she will gravitate toward you. This is because you are not just any man. You are the man who leads with integrity and emotional intelligence. Guiding, not pushing. True leadership involves guiding her through life, not forcing her into submission. Be the man who inspires her to see the world through a lens of shared values. She doesn't need to follow you out of fear or obligation. You must show her that your strength is not in domination, but in the gentleness of your influence. You don't make her decisions for her. You don't push her around. Instead, you create a space where her own autonomy is respected. You lead without ever imposing yourself. And when you do this, something profound happens. You begin to form a bond that is based on mutual trust, respect, and admiration. She will see that you are a man who leads with integrity, a man who is trustworthy and reliable in any situation. What makes you magnetic? True strength lies in the ability to act with unwavering integrity. And this is what makes you magnetic. It's not about asserting dominance. It's about asserting your values. It's not about making her follow you. It's about leading so well that she chooses to follow. When you're constantly leading with honor, confidence, and the ability to make decisions with clarity, she will naturally align herself with your vision. There will be no need for manipulation or force. Instead, you'll create a dynamic where she feels emotionally safe and inspired to walk with you, not behind you. Consistency is key. Being a man who leads without forcing means being consistent. It's not enough to show strength one day and falter the next. You must consistently demonstrate your values, your integrity, and your ability to handle tough situations with grace. If your actions remain steadfast, so will her respect for you. This kind of leadership isn't a one-time show. It's about building a pattern of behavior that makes her trust you over time. She won't follow you because you demand it. She'll follow because she has seen you stay true to who you are, time and time again. Earn her respect, don't demand it. In relationships, respect is never something you can demand. It is always something you must earn. A man who leads without forcing never commands respect through intimidation or manipulation. He earns it through consistent, reliable actions that align with his values. When you show up as the man who leads with integrity, when you stand firm in your beliefs and act on them without needing to control, you will attract respect. It's not a superficial or forced respect. It's genuine, rooted in admiration for the person you are and the way you live your life. The bottom line. So, remember, don't lead through force. Be the man who leads through respect, trust, and unwavering integrity. When you lead this way, you'll find that she doesn't just follow. You inspire her to walk beside you, hand in hand, because she recognizes the strength in your leadership. She'll never see you the same again, because you've shown her what it truly means to be a man who leads without forcing. That is the art of true leadership, and it's what sets you apart from the crowd. Hey, thanks for watching. If you found this video valuable, don't forget to hit that like button, share it with your friends, and subscribe for more insightful content just like this. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Do you have any feedback or something you'd like to discuss about the old Stoic wisdom we covered today? Feel free to drop a comment below, and let's keep the conversation going. Remember, these simple yet powerful lessons can make a huge difference in how you approach life and relationships. Keep using your wisdom, and I'll catch you in the next video. Take care.